A recession may be around the corner, but that does not mean that we should be ignoring the stock market. Yes, the stock market has had a rough year, but if you look back over history, so many people have built their wealth using stocks and equities. A lot has been written about how to be a great investor and how to build your wealth using the stock market. In this video, we're going to talk about why I think you should consider the stock market as a tool to build your wealth. Let's go. Hey everyone, I'm Michael Baker with The Wealth Technique, where we help you build, protect, and transfer your wealth. Before we get into it, the first idea I want you to understand is you have to have something called margin. Think about your income minus your expenses, whatever is left over, that's your margin. People who consume every dollar that they make have zero margin. If you have no margin, you can't build capital. And if you can't build capital, you can't be an investor. It's going to be really, really, really challenging. So the first idea that you need to think about, no matter where you are in your financial journey, is do you have margin, and how are you going to continue to sustain and build your margin so that you can be an investor over the long run? In all of my financial workshops, that is the one lesson that I share with everyone. You have to have margin if you want to be a long-term investor. Okay, now that we've talked about margin, I want you to think about the famous investors that you've heard of. Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, right? These uber wealthy billionaires who've created conglomerates, investing empires, however they've built their wealth. Now, I want you to imagine that you are not them. Because the truth is, you're probably not them. Warren Buffett is one of one. His partner, Charlie Munger, one of one. The idea that we're going to be investing and doing things on the level that Warren Buffett does is somewhat silly to me. Warren Buffett has a team of people that he consults with before he makes any type of investment. So let's just imagine, I know a stretch, but let's imagine that you're not Warren Buffett. Why should you be looking at the stock market? Well, here's the beauty of capital markets. They allow us as everyday folks to have access to people like Warren Buffett, to people like Jeff Bezos, to people like Elon Musk, to people like Tim Cook. These people that have built amazing businesses, the stock market allows us to be investors in those companies. We get to participate as owners of those businesses. That is the beauty of capital markets. You don't have to be a brilliant investor. You don't have to be a brilliant entrepreneur or CEO. You can take your capital and invest in the best investors' businesses, the best investors' ideas and companies. So we get to piggyback on their success and their brilliance. Think about that. That is a tremendous opportunity for all of us. Now that we've talked about standing on the shoulders of giants, two other things that I think you need are time and patience. I know I struggle with patience. It's not one of my best virtues, but if you want to give yourself the best chance at success with investing, you need to have patience. The way that we do that is we give ourselves enough of a time horizon. People that have a 1-year time horizon are really gambling. They're not investing, and you need to know the difference. So when I talk about time and patience, really what I'm starting to talk about is how well do you know yourself? Because to me, that is the key to building wealth with the stock market, giving yourself enough time and knowing yourself. A lot of people think that the best way to grow their wealth in the stock market is to take significant risk and dial up as much risk as they can handle in their portfolio. I think that you should be thinking about your time horizon and how much risk you can take without abandoning your strategies. There is a big difference between someone who is, I would consider a speculator, and someone who I would consider an investor. A speculator is someone who's basically gambling and thinking that if they pick the right bets, those bets will go up and they'll make lots of money. They also run the risk of taking huge losses. Someone that's I would call an investor has given themselves an appropriate time horizon. They've created goals and strategies for themselves. They have a plan before they begin investing. Because if you are working a plan, anytime something happens, if we see recession, if we have an economic growth spurt, if there's a black swan event, we always can go back to our plan and determine what the next best course of action for us to take should be. So speculators have no plan. They're gambling and they're wanting to just try to roll the dice and earn as much as they can with the risk that they're taking. Investors give themselves an appropriate time horizon. They have a plan and they work their plan. Part of knowing yourself as an investor is understanding the difference between luck and skill. One of my favorite stories to tell is about Jeff Bezos, the former CEO of Amazon. You could go back and actually see old videos of Jeff talking about his new startup venture, Amazon, where it was, we sell books online. Jeff had a tremendous idea, and it came at the perfect time where he scaled out this massive selling of books over the internet, which was fairly new. Most people, when they go to start investing, they read stories like that and they believe, oh, I'm going to do the same thing. And the difference between luck and skill is luck can happen to anybody, but skill takes time and experience to cultivate. Having a great stock or something that happens one time, that's not necessarily an indicator of skill. So be wary of your neighbor or your friend or your coworker that's coming up and telling you about this great idea that they've hit X squillion % return on. One of the things that I think everybody should be thinking, and a question they should be asking themselves is it luck or is it skill? I'm going to do a lot more videos about this. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. But I want you to make sure you got the big ideas from this video. One, you got to have margin. Margin is where the secret sauce happens. You also got to think about the fact that investing in the stock market allows us to stand on the shoulders of giants. We get to participate in the biggest and best companies in the entire world. You got to know yourself. Give yourself time and patience. Are you a speculator? Are you an investor? Key thing, have a plan. These are just a few of my thoughts about building wealth in the stock market. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, like this video.